Ciao ragazzi, vi rubo solo 2 secondi per ricordarvi di iscrivervi e di lasciare un bel mi piace. Grazie e buona visione.
Detective Hercule Poirot? Ah, Chief Commissioner. On the contrary, it is a most convenient time. The safe passage of a painting? Tell me everything. If man was meant to travel the oceans in such conditions, he would surely have been given his own fins. A distraction is what one needs. Where is that blasted contact? How is one to prepare for an assignment if one does not have all of the required information? Very well. I shall wait no longer.
Beautiful, isn't she?
Pardon, monsieur?
The open water. There really is nothing quite like her.
When one suffers from the mal de mer, the beauty, as you say, is rather more a burden.
Forgive me, I just can't imagine being scared of the ocean in this day and age. The potential to see the world is open to even the ordinary man like us.
I can assure you, monsieur, it is not a matter of being scared. And as for ordinary...
I didn't mean to offend, Mr.
I am...
Forgive me, madame.
No harm done. Accidents happen. My cigarette case, where is it?
I didn't see.
You thought I wouldn't notice? A young lady traveling alone. An easy target for you, I bet.
I'm sure the young lady would appreciate the help of 2 handsome strangers. How could a porter be so clumsy? Let's give her a hand.
A young lady should not be left to gather her own things.
Oh dear, what a mess.
I didn't drop it on purpose.
A young lady should not be left to gather her own things. Aha. Oh. Aha. Ah. You are returning home?
I am. But how did you know that?
Besides your educated accent, the crest that adorns your cigarette case, it is of British origin.
Very observant. It's the crest of my family, and the case belonged to my mother. I take it everywhere with me. Miss Florence Farquhar, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is ours.
That looks like everything. Except for my powder case.
Is this what you're looking for?
It is! Thank you, Miss...
Miss Babanin. Anastasia Babanin.
Anastasia. What a beautiful name.
It was my grandmother's.
Well, that's everything now. I can't thank you all enough for your help.
I'd be happy to escort you. Here, I'll take your bag.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Cabin 4. I'll be right behind you. Anastasia, perhaps I can offer you a token of my gratitude in the bar later?
That would be lovely.
And you, Mr...
Detective Hercule Poirot, at your service.
A detective? I was not expecting to meet such a distinguished gentleman on board.
I did not expect to meet someone of Russian descent on a ship between the great city of Antwerp and Dover.
I never mentioned where I was from either.
One did not have to. Anastasia, of Russian origin meaning resurrection.
And here was me thinking I was special.
Your knowledge of my heritage is most impressive.
And I'll take that as my cue to leave. Good evening.
It seems it's just us remaining.
I would very much like to hear stories from your homeland. Perhaps you would join me in the restaurant.
As charming as that would be, I'm feeling rather tired. It must be all the sea air.
Then I shall leave you to your slumber. Adieu. As much as I enjoyed the delights of the restaurant, I still found my mind drifting back to Mademoiselle Babagna. She really was quite charming. I have spent the first part of this excursion neglecting my duties. It's time to retrieve my notebook from the safe and begin. The combination was not a difficult one to remember. 1815, the Battle of Waterloo. Et voilà. Time to... One cannot ignore such a blood-curdling scream.
My mother's cigarette case! It's gone! How could somebody do this?
Mademoiselle, I ask that you take a moment to calm.
You're a detective, of course! What luck!
As luck would have it, one of Belgium's finest. Now, I require as many details of the crime as you can offer.
I came to my cabin and began unpacking. I couldn't get the safe working, but the gentleman that helped me with my luggage showed me how it works. Afterwards, I went for a brief walk, and when I returned, the safe was open, and my cigarette case was gone.
We must consider the suspect list. Those who were aware of the cigarette case's existence.
That can only be those who were up on the deck when my luggage spilled. Miss Babanian, the porter, yourself.
And your helpful stranger.
Yes, of course.
I ask that you gather them for me. And while you are absent, I shall begin my investigation in here, if Mademoiselle permits.
Whatever you need to do to find it.
Oh.
Mademoiselle, I thought you would be returning with the gentleman also.
The gentleman wanted to speak to the porter alone first.
I was unaware he is also a detective.
He's not a policeman. He works in insurance, I believe.
It appears I shall be spending my time chasing amateur detectives around the ship.
Mademoiselle, I would like to start with who had access to the safe combination.
No one. It was in a sealed envelope that was waiting for me when I arrived. I memorized it and threw the paper overboard. 4385. It's really not that difficult to remember.
A similar envelope was waiting for me upon my arrival. The date of the Battle of Waterloo, as I recall. Every safe, although identical, must have a different combination.
After the gentleman helped me with the safe, he left.
If the mysterious gentleman is behind the theft, he went to great lengths to hide his fingerprints, but did little to hide his movements in Mademoiselle Farquhar's cabin. There are many questions that require answers, answers I believe he may hold.
Huh.
I'm sorry, but it's just not acceptable, Mark.
I've apologized to the lady.
And that makes everything all right?
It was an accident.
An accident that could have been avoided if you hadn't spent your morning drinking.
Gentlemen, you are behaving like two young boys in the schoolyard. It ends now. Is Mademoiselle Farquhar aware you are acting as her knight in shining armor?
I wouldn't go as far as that. I think perhaps we have got off on the wrong foot. I'm Arthur Hastings.
She requested you to follow her to her cabin, no?
Oh, yes, she did, but I wanted to...
Speak with the porter privately? This was part of your investigation?
Well, I'm not a detective. I was just,
Then perhaps you will answer some questions that are vital to my investigation as a detective.
What can I do for you? It is. Is my employment relevant to Miss Farquhar's missing cigarette case?
I hope you will entertain me for a moment. What would you say the chances of proving a theft in a case such as this one are?
Well, a report from a detective like yourself will certainly help expedite her insurance claim.
As I thought. It had perhaps not crossed her mind before, but being amongst an officer of the law and an insurance man, the idea of insurance fraud may have appeared appealing.
When Florence, Miss Farquhar, told me that something had gone missing from her safe, I thought it must have been the porter.
How so?
I'd rather not say with him standing just there.
It is not I that controls the volume of your voice.
You must have noticed the smell of beer on his breath. I wouldn't put it past a man that drinks on the job to steal.
That is quite the accusation. And if you were correct, you wish to settle the matter with him privately?
I wanted to give him what for, but I suppose I lost my nerve. I'm what some would call a middleman. I oversee the handling of recently sold items and put the buyer in contact with an appropriate insurer.
The mention of insurance initially sparked my attention. But the more he talks of his work, I believe he may be my mysterious contact from Lloyd's of London. It was your work that took you to Belgium?
I can't go into too many details, but I'm actually delivering a rather special piece of art to London. I'm meant to be meeting an official of some sorts that's supposed to be helping me, but no sign of them yet.
And it is confirmed. It concerns me that my supposed trusted colleague has found himself involved in the middle of my investigation. I will continue to withhold my true identity and see how Monsieur Hastings' involvement concludes. Merci, monsieur.
This really is an exciting case. Anything I can do to help Miss Farquhar, please don't hesitate to ask.
Your enthusiasm has been noted. Perhaps you and I can have a more civilized discussion.
I'll tell you the same as I told your friend. I will not be bullied.
Intimidation is not my forte. What is uncovering the identity of criminals and making sure they are punished to the fullest extent of the law.
And that's me?
That is what I am yet to conclude.
Who said anything about drinking alcohol?
It does not take a detective to identify the distinct odor on one's breath.
Maybe one to calm my nerves. My sea legs aren't here yet, that's all. I was in the cargo hold, cutting something with my knife, and it slipped. No harm done.
I am not quite sure you understand what that means.
So now I am stupid and a drunk?
Do you have the knife in question on your person now?
I don't. He stole it and won't return it.
What can I do for you?
Huh. Oh. Aha.
Mademoiselle Farquhar, I shall have your cigarette case returned to you before we reach the English coast.
I hope so, Detective. Insured? Oh no, why would I have it insured?
Anything of substantial monetary value.
I'll stop you there, Detective. The cigarette case itself is hardly worth 2 pennies, but to me, it's priceless. Not for a second. At least not with my permission. You probably think this silly, naive woman has left her valuables out, or I've just misplaced them. But I assure you, that is not me.
It had not crossed my mind for even a moment.
You caught me, reading my own article.
I must say you raise a very interesting point. Art should have no social boundaries. Creativity is for all to enjoy.
Thank you for saying that. I wish everyone was as open-minded. Yes, I'm really quite excited about it.
You have been invited to a preview at the Royal Edward Gallery. A small world indeed.
Will you be in attendance? It's actually one of the reasons that I have been in Belgium. I was lucky enough to have a sneak peek at some of the pieces on show. I'll also be writing a follow-up article on the success of it. Fingers crossed.
Lucky indeed. I am sure it will be a great success. Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now. Mademoiselle Babagnan, I'm sorry we must continue our conversation under these circumstances.
On the contrary, what fantastic luck that you are here. Now I get to see you at work. I'm afraid I've done very little, actually. After we parted ways, I went to my cabin. I had barely unpacked and I was fast asleep on the bed.
Alone?
That is a rather personal question, don't you think, Detective? I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. A poor attempt at a joke. Yes, I was alone.
There is no need to be nervous. And then?
And then I was woken up by Florence's scream. I have never heard something so terrifying.
You have been most helpful, mademoiselle. I shall not take up any more of your time.
Oh. Huh.
Magnifique! A fingerprint. Now to determine who it belongs to.
You found one, Detective? Ah, how exciting! I suppose you'll want to take mine. To rule me out, I mean. You could ask me anything. Am I to be used as your guinea pig?
I would not dare compare you to a guinea pig. Would you be so kind?
The answer is yes, of course. I have nothing to hide.
Of course. Whatever you need.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. I must consider the suspects I have in front of me. Monsieur Hastings. He is keen to impress Mademoiselle Farquhar and claims that he was alone in his cabin working since. Mark Allard, the porter. Evidence suggests a rather amateur attempt to break into the safe, which in his intoxicated state would make sense. But it was just a ruse. The safe was opened quite masterfully, leaving only signs of a poorly attempted break-in. Mademoiselle Babagna, a new friend to Mademoiselle Farquhar, who appeared at a most convenient time. I cannot see a motive besides the obvious value of the cigarette case, but Mademoiselle Farquhar has made it quite clear the value is of a sentimental nature. Perhaps the best thing for me would be to return to my cabin to think. I fear my legs and perhaps even my evening meal will not last much longer amidst these waves. Perhaps.
Ah, detective. How goes the investigation?
A good detective, better yet, a great detective, will find motive, means, and opportunity.
She found it! Miss Babagnan found it! Oh, thank heavens!
I was on my way to speak with the captain when I saw something shining underneath one of those pipes.
Strange that it was not spotted earlier by any one of us while on the ship's deck.
Maybe the thief was scared and dumped it for fear of being caught red-handed.
Miss Babagnan, Anastasia, you saved the day. I can't thank you enough. And you, of course, detective.
I find Mademoiselle Babagna's explanation of finding the cigarette case rather coincidental. But without any definitive proof, I cannot suggest anything otherwise. The cigarette case has been returned and the coast is in sight, which is what is important. Although, there still remains a part of me that craves the truth.
I suppose you can chalk that up as a victory.
A victory for Mademoiselle Farquhar, but not in the eyes of the law.
Well, if anyone asks, I'll confirm what a splendid job you did.
Very kind, monsieur. While we are on the matter of truth, Monsieur Arthur Hastings, you are here to oversee the transportation of the penitent Magdalene painting, are you not?
How on earth?
You are aware of my employment, but not of my true identity. Detective Hercule Poirot.
Wait, are you the official that I was supposed to have met on board?
Oui, monsieur. Please, accept my apologies for keeping my true identity hidden. But I had to be sure your involvement with the theft was purely coincidental. When it comes to the nature of our work, trust must be earned.
A little unorthodox, but I suppose I understand. So you can trust me now?
It continues to grow.
Well, we have a couple of weeks before the gala, so hopefully by then you'll trust me with your life.
One can hope.
I don't think I'll ever stop being amazed seeing such incredible pieces up close.
One would certainly hope not.
Oh. Ah.
What do you gentlemen think of this particular piece?
Can it really be?
To a layman, perhaps. I'm afraid it's a complete fake.
No. Such eloquent and delicate work.
Very observant. But that doesn't make it authentic. You know, Even Michelangelo himself was an art forger in his early career. See if you can spot the telltale sign of a forgery.
Aha.
Huh. Huh. Oh.
The craquelure is inconsistent across the painting. Surely a sign of a cheap imitation.
Very impressive, Detective. Unconvincing aging is one of the most common giveaways of a forgery, whether it be in the craquelure, the smells of chemicals used to artificially age the painting, pigments that haven't dulled with age. Sometimes it's as simple as the materials used just not existing at the time of painting. The trustees were quite excited by its arrival, but it didn't take me long to identify its faults.
Quite the detective yourself, Mademoiselle Warbeck.
Please, call me Evelyn.
If there's one thing I've learned in the short time I've spent with the detective here, formalities and politeness are essential.
They are a cornerstone of modern civilization and must be upheld.
This city could benefit from more gentlemen like yourself.
Now that the etiquette of our greetings has been decided, shall we finalize preparations?
I was hoping you'd say that. The exhibition area needs to be secured. I wonder if you would be able to lock the remaining doors for me? I'll lock the west wing door when I'm finished there. And if you could tie this ribbon around the handles of the main door for me, I'll leave it outside.
If securing the exhibition room is what Mademoiselle Warbeck requires, that is what shall be done.
Detective Poirot, have you ever seen something so beautiful?
Monsieur Hastings, everything has beauty. It is only how the individual perceives it that defines just how beautiful.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Oui, I am. Mademoiselle Warbeck requested I prepare a ribbon over the main exhibition room door before the grand reveal. Once I have done that, the restoration room door shall be locked, and our work, for the moment at least, is complete.
Ah.
Miss Warbeck did ask you to make it look pretty.
One shall complete the task to the degree it is requested. Symmetry is the key, you see.
Oh yes, I see.
Everything is now ready for the arrival of the guests.
I assume you have the list of guests?
I am afraid not. It would usually be an essential part of my preparation. In fact, it perturbs me that there is something I did not have time to prepare for.
Would you like me to find Miss Warbeck? There may still be some time to check the list. Look, there's Miss Farquhar. With Miss Babinin.
Seems that they became fast friends after the incident on the ship. Intriguing.
Intriguing how?
Speculation, monsieur. Nothing more.
That head of yours is just constantly full of thoughts. Who's this?
I have no idea, but she's sure to turn heads with such a fetching dress.
I quite agree. And who is this dapper-looking gentleman?
Mon Dieu.
Wait a minute. Is that... Well... Poirot, you devil! Forgive me. Where are my manners? Detective Poirot.
Goodness, Monsieur Demire. Poirot is more than adequate for an old friend.
He saves my family from near ruin, uncovers a murderous plan, and still has the modesty to not correct a buffoon like me.
Allow me to introduce myself.
Heavens, my manners appear to have been replaced by surprise and excitement. Forgive me. Monsieur Demir, this is Monsieur Arthur Hastings.
You've got yourself a partner now. Well, any friend of Poirot's is surely a friend of mine.
Monsieur Hastings has been kind enough to show me the sights of London. A more than adequate guide.
I would take that. It's as often as a blue moon you see Poirot handing out approvals like that.
And what is it you do, Mr. Demir?
A previous field medic, Monsieur Demir now finds himself working for...
With?
Pardon. With his brother, doing most honorable charitable work all across London.
Need I say more?
Could everyone gather together for a photograph, please? Would you all move a bit closer together for me, please?
I didn't realize we were going to be in the newspaper.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all. I just want the camera to get my best side.
Okay, if everyone is ready.
So, Poirot, what on earth are you doing here anyway?
My orders were to see to the safe travel of the centerpiece of the exhibition, the penitent Magdalene. Monsieur Hastings here travels with me, covering any administrations and insurance requirements.
Art protection? That's a bit beneath the great Hercule Poirot, isn't it? Especially protecting it from this lot.
Perhaps you would be so kind as to introduce us.
Where's the fun in that? We have to make sure those... What's it you call them again?
You are referring to my little grays.
Little grey cells, yes? Ha, that's it. I've been playing a little game. I've been trying to find a painting to match each of the guests. At least the ones I'm acquainted with. I wondered, Poirot, do you think you can ascertain which paintings match which guests? I can give you a little info, but you'll need to make your own inquiries. Miss Irene Courtsmire. She's one you'll want to keep your eye on in the future art scene. Born and raised on a rather affluent estate, she turned her back on her parents in her teens to start a new life in London as an artist.
She's a very nice young lady.
Ah, really? Interested, are we?
I was only making a comment on her nature, nothing untoward, I can assure you.
Or as we are all meant to refer to him as, the Honorable Reverend Horace Mountjoy. He's a man of the church. I'm not sure what else there is to say. If you're wanting to keep the lectures to a minimum, I'd avoid admitting to anything that could even be considered a sin. Mortimer Aylesworth. If you've not heard of him, I'd get familiar with the name. Eton and Cambridge educated, he followed in his father's political footsteps and has already surpassed them. Johann Christiansen and his glamorous wife Betty Allen.
Betty Allen, the actress.
The very same. They've been here in London for a few years, although she still plays down her boldness for British society, even with her recently taking a new role in the theatre.
She did not take his name in marriage?
Allen is her maiden name, works as her stage name too. A lot snappier than Christiansen.
And his employment?
He's a partner for a private bank in London. He has told me what he actually does many times before, and many times I forgot. You will no doubt already know our host, Evelyn Warbeck.
We have already made her acquaintance. Very pleasant, if not rather flustered by today's exhibition.
That's everyone. Well, there's Mr. Hastings here. I'm sure we shall get to know each other better.
Anastasia Babana. We met briefly while traversing the channel.
Look at you, Poirot. Got a love interest of your own, huh?
Monsieur Demire, must I remind you of why I am here?
No. No need at all. I know you're strictly business. Let's see what you can do then. And come back to me when you know enough about the guests to solve my little mystery.
Everything seems to be running smoothly. You've done a sterling job.
Everything except for the bishop and the other trustees, stooges.
It was never going to be easy going up against them. All men of a certain age, not used to the idea of change. But they didn't get their way this time. And with my exhibit coming up, this place will finally have a showing they can be proud of, and the quality the museum deserves.
Mademoiselle Court Smythe believes her upcoming exhibition will change the perspective of the trustees and the public. I get the feeling she enjoys the accolades and being the center of attention.
Detective Poirot, you're looking much happier being on solid land.
There was a moment when I thought that wretched sea would get the best of me.
Well, I'm certainly glad it didn't.
As am I. Please, do not allow me to disturb you, mesdames. Adieu.
Incredible, isn't it? And to think we are all located on that one small planet, revolving around an all-encompassing star. To think of all the suffering. I give what I can to charity, but what this country needs is someone willing to put the poor first.
I'm well aware of where we are. I just want to make sure I'm looking my best for the photographs.
And people call me the drama queen.
Beautiful, isn't it? Not like the modern tripe Miss Warbeck insists on bringing into the museum. Oh, the Lord will not look fondly upon her choices.
I would hope one's choice of art would not affect one's chances for a better afterlife.
Let's hope not, for her sake.
Huh. Aha. Huh.
So, have you any thoughts on my little mystery? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. Anyone else? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. Anyone else? So, have you any thoughts on my little mystery? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. Anyone else?
Aha. Ah.
It is a great pleasure to see you again, mademoiselle.
I've been looking forward to us bumping into one another. Thank you again for your help.
I must admit, I feel almost tormented that I was not able to uncover the identity of the thief.
All that matters is that it was found. If you'll excuse me, I really should get on. This article isn't going to write itself. I moan, but it's my love. My obsession, you could say.
How dare you! That might be something you say where you're from, but not here. Not to me.
What a waste of champagne.
I thought this was supposed to be a civilized event.
Are you all right, mademoiselle? I hope you did not spill any champagne on your gown.
Don't worry about me. It's only that wretched man that has got some cleaning up to do.
His suit and his mouth, by the sounds of it.
Do not allow this to ruin your day.
I have no intention of allowing such a thing. In fact, we have business to discuss.
It would be good to at least schedule a time that suits us both.
Monsieur Christiansen and Madame Alain have returned. You are to be the focus of Mademoiselle Farquhar's article.
Miss Court Smythe here is the next big name, and she has been kind enough to offer me an exclusive interview.
Madame Alain has left via the exit, but Monsieur Christiansen has not gone with her. Do not allow me to interrupt your work.
Ah, you've had more than enough time, detective. So, how did you get on?
If one is to discover the truth, one must proceed using the correct methods and cannot be rushed.
Anyone else? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. Anyone else? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. Anyone else? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. Anyone else? Why might they be like this particular piece? That's right! Although I shouldn't be surprised. That's everyone. Well done. I should have known it'd be no challenge for you.
I have faced many a more demanding challenge, but few quite so enjoyable.
Hi, is he okay? I think something's wrong with him.
I think he's having a heart attack. He seems stable. Now's the time to get him to the infirmary.
Oh, there's no need for that. I'm feeling much better already.
Wouldn't it be best to telephone for a real doctor?
Monsieur Demir was a field medic. What more of a professional is required?
A field medic? Really?
A field medic that has seen people in a lot worse states, who didn't have the luxury of a proper hospital.
Oh, I didn't mean to offend. I'm sorry. If I am being carted off, the unveiling must go on. I will not have this silly old man ruining the gala for everyone.
You drive a hard bargain, Monsieur Aylesworth.
I'd just like to say a few words.
I'm sure you would.
Thank you all for coming. Here at the Royal Edward Gallery, we are proud to present such wonderful works by some truly fantastic artists. And with much negotiation and pleading, we have been able to secure a most fabulous and individual piece. Standing here with you, unveiling today's centerpiece, the Penitent Magdalene, really is a special moment for both this museum and me personally. So, without further ado,
Oh my.
Am I missing something here?
Things just got interesting.
it was. It should be.
Is this some kind of joke? Evelyn, what's going on here? Oh, trust you to have no idea. You've really done it this time, girl.
She's done nothing. It's not her fault.
By the grace of God, it's somebody's fault.
I am quite sure Mademoiselle Warbeck is as surprised as us all. S'il vous plaît, everyone. Remain where you are. Please do not touch a thing. Monsieur Hastings, you saw me lock the door to the restoration room, oui?
Of course, I was by your side. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble for this.
You are not responsible for the painting's disappearance.
But who is?
Do not allow any of the guests to leave the main hall.
And what are you going to do?
What is required? One's job.
So, I don't really know what to say.
Monsieur Hastings, this theft may be a new and foreign concept to you. But to Detective Poirot, it is just another case waiting to be solved.
What do we do then?
We must get to work. If we can ascertain the thief's point of entry and exit, this may all be resolved momentarily.
Huh. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Oh. Huh.
Voilà.
Aha. Hmm. Huh.
Gentlemen, I have called the police and they should arrive shortly. What can I do in the meantime?
Do you still hold the master key?
Of course. You are the only other person who has had access to it.
Très bien. Please keep it close. I believe the thief may be one of the guests here today.
Magnifique.
Monsieur Hastings, I pose this question to you. If Mademoiselle Warbeck still has the master key,
Is she not a suspect herself?
très bien.
Mademoiselle Warbeck is likely not our thief. The real thief did not care about the museum and what is hung on its walls.
At some time during this evening's festivities, The key was taken from her pocket and used in the restoration room door without her knowledge. If we find the pickpocket, we will uncover our painting thief. First, we must search the restoration room. Mesdames et messieurs, your attention please. I am Detective Hercule Poirot of the Belgian Police Force. I was charged with the safety of the penitent Magdalene painting on its voyage to London from Belgium. The missing painting has indeed cut the celebrations of the gala short, and so I consider my duty to be, as yet, incomplete. With your cooperation, I ask that you all remain within the building, and I intend to speak with you all individually.
If I was the thief, I would certainly be worried after a speech like that. I just wonder if... maybe I should let you do the questioning.
Monsieur Hastings, the painting's safe return also falls upon your shoulders.
I know, but I can make myself useful elsewhere, see what clues I can find.
The answer was staring me in the face. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. What a revelation!
Bonsoir, Monsieur Christiansen.
Detective, what a mess you have on your hands.
That is certainly one way to describe it. Perhaps you can begin to help me to clear up this mess.
Are you married, Detective Poirot?
I am not.
Then heed my warning. If your wife, whenever she comes along, wants to be left alone, you leave her alone. I was with Betty most of the evening. She wasn't feeling herself. I'm glad I didn't leave and miss out on all of this. Don't tell me you don't get a little thrill when a new case appears.
I do not think about such thrills, Monsieur Christiansen. Only justice.
All business, no pleasure, I see. I remember seeing the priest.
The bishop?
Yes, him. He came down the stairs just before Mr. Aylesworth recovered. Maybe a man of the church was all he needed. Oh, you saw that?
I believe every soul in the museum did, or at least held the commotion.
So I look like the bad guy, That's what you get for standing up to a bully, I suppose.
A bully?
She made some pretty awful comments about Betty and her career. And I wasn't just going to stand by and let her say whatever she wanted. You should lock her up for what she did to me. She's unhinged.
Merci, monsieur. Bonsoir, Your Excellency.
I should be addressed as Your Grace.
Pardon. I did not mean to offend, Your Grace. It's just that in Belgium...
It is quite all right. None of us can choose where we're born. Now, what can I do for you? Who would have thought the reveal of the missing painting would cause a man to take such a turn?
Perhaps a warning to us all that such a scare could come at any time.
Are you trying to say that is what's going to happen to me?
Your Grace has misinterpreted my meaning. But on the matter of where you were at the time...
Then maybe you should think before you speak. And I was talking with a young Russian girl. If I must, I was talking with Mr. Aylesworth for a time. Some strange opinions, that one.
Would you care to elaborate?
You were not present for that conversation, and I hardly think it appropriate to involve you now. Although, I will say he was rather keen to see the orrery from the balcony. He left, and I spoke briefly to that actress, but she wandered off looking for her husband. Up the main stairs, I think it was.
Merci, Your Grace. Bonsoir, Mademoiselle Babagnan.
Please, Detective. Surely we are past those formalities.
What you may consider a formality, I consider etiquette.
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting the other guests. I feel so fortunate just to be invited myself.
Modesty is the color of virtue. Now, mademoiselle, you were saying...
Oh, yes. We all gathered for that delightful photograph. Then I spent some time looking at all the wonderful art. I did notice the actress and the politician returned to the main hall together.
And the other guests?
I saw Bishop Mountjoy and the politician, oh forgive me, I forget his name, leave towards the east wing together. It was much earlier in the night, well before that.
You have been as enchanting as always. Madame Warbeck, a moment of your time, if you will.
I was rather busy, as you saw, especially with Irene and her disappearing act.
Disappearing act? An artist and a magician. She is a woman of many talents.
She was nowhere to be found. Is that better? She was supposed to help me organize everything. Then I saw her throwing her glass of champagne at Mrs. Allen's husband. I was hoping to speak with her after, but I didn't see her again until she was calling down from the balcony following Mr. Aylesworth's collapse. Mr. Christensen, Betty Allen's husband. After the theft, on my way to telephone the police, he was looking for something in the West Wing.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now. Bonsoir, mademoiselle.
It seems trouble follows you, Detective.
So it would appear. And the faster I am able to ask my questions, the faster this trouble will be resolved.
I saw Betty leave the main hall and head for the West Wing after the whole champagne debacle. What do you think that was all about?
It is not my job to speculate on such private matters. It is to uncover the location of the missing painting and who is responsible.
If there is someone who can, it's you, Detective.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now. Mademoiselle, if you have a moment, I wish to ask you some questions.
Look around you, detective. Out of the ordinary is the ordinary here.
Regarding the guests of the gala, you had the opportunity to speak with them all?
I met that delightful Farquhar girl, the art critic. With any luck, her article will finally give me the respect I deserve.
Your talk on the balcony went well, I presume.
Well, indeed. We weren't up there for long before the poor politician was struck down. What luck for there to be a doctor at the scene. And for us to have a detective here, too. Before I wasted a perfectly good glass of champagne on that man, you mean?
That is certainly one way to tell the story.
I'd hardly call him trying to push himself upon me as a story.
With his wife in the same room?
You think a man with that much arrogance cares? Women are nothing more than objects to him. One day he'll learn his lesson.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
I thought I would make myself useful, and I think I found some things of note.
Bon. I shall go and retrieve them now. You were wise to not touch them and contaminate any evidence.
I didn't think about that. I did only move them to the West Wing.
Fantastic.
Huh.
Another success. I never doubted myself. One step closer to revealing the truth. Magnifique.
Ah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh.
If it'll help retrieve the painting. Of course. I have the key.
Mademoiselle, the key?
I'm sorry. You said it yourself. I think I should just hold on to it.
I was not expecting Mademoiselle Warbeck's hesitation.
Mademoiselle Warbeck, I really must insist on access to the restoration room. I find your reluctance to oblige a little troubling, mademoiselle.
Now listen. I am the curator of this museum, and I...
Miss Warbeck, will you let the man in? I, for one, would like to get to the bottom of this tonight.
Please, Evelyn. Let's not drag this on all night.
Evelyn Warbeck?
That's me?
Detective Inspector Hardwick. I was told a painting's been half-inched.
Yes, it's...
Stolen. Detective Hercule Poirot of the Belgian police, seconded by the Musée Royal des Beaux-Arts de Belgique and Lloyd's of London, to escort the penitent Magdalene here. How do you do, Detective Inspector Hardwick?
Well, thank you for that introduction, Mr. Poirot, but we won't be needing your help this evening.
But you see, not only do I have a considerable personal stake in this matter, I also possess undoubtedly the finest investigatory mind in all of Belgium.
I'm sure Belgium thinks you're the bee's knees, but we'll be just fine and dandy.
I must insist, Inspector.
Bloody hell! I don't have time for this. Will someone try and get through to this man before he does my head in?
Dear Mr. Poirot, I know you meant well, but perhaps now is not the time to push the inspector's buttons.
Très bien. Monsieur Hastings, the fate of the penitent Magdalene lies in our hands.
And Miss Warbeck's career, by the sound of it.
Then we shall waste no time. We have spoken with a number of the guests from the gala, but there still remains those who are absent. They may be able to offer a clue as to the thief's identity.
Then let's go and find them.
Poirot, over here. I heard about the painting. Trouble just seems to follow you. If there's anything I can do to help.
I am looking for Madame Hélène. Would you know where I could find her?
If she's not on stage already or rehearsing, she'll be in her dressing room. That alleyway will take you to the back door.
Oh, this isn't quite what I was expecting from a famous star like Betty Allen.
A famous star that is not on stage, nor in her dressing room.
You don't think something could have happened to her?
Combining the state of the room and her being absent, I fear something sinister may indeed be afoot.
Oh. Hmm. Aha. Huh. Huh. Hmm. Oh. Aha.
What do you need? What can I do for you?
The fact that there are valuable items remaining in the safe leads me to believe that the thief was looking for something specifically. Something that they knew would be present in the safe. Meaning they had previous knowledge of the contents of Madame Hélène's safe. In effect, they must know Madame Hélène herself.
Ah. Hmm. Huh.
What do you need? What can I do for you? Why, Mrs. Allen?
One step closer to revealing the truth. Magnifique.
Hello? Who's that?
Bonjour, madame.
You're not English. Where are you from? What are you doing here?
Madame, I am Detective Hercule Poirot.
So what?
I was hoping to speak with a neighbor of yours. Mademoiselle...
She's not in. Are you waiting for her?
Do you know how long she...
You can give her this. And tell her I did what I could with it.
I will be sure to do that. Adieu, madame.
I told you last time you made a mess of things that if anything else was to happen,
So, you are blaming me for the painting going missing? I have poured my heart and my soul into...
Pardon. Perhaps this is a conversation that should be had behind closed doors.
This conversation will happen where and when I want it to.
What Detective Poirot means is maybe somewhere a little less public would be a better place to have it.
I am well aware of what your foreign friend was implying, and I shall give you exactly the same answer.
Let us not say anything that one would later regret. A moment to breathe for everyone, perhaps.
You do as much breathing as you want, as long as you find that painting. I don't think you quite understand the severity of the situation, Detective Inspector.
I'm well aware, and I'll conduct my investigation how I see fit.
That just isn't good enough. How would you feel if... Who am I kidding? You could never afford something like that.
I can assure you Detective Inspector Hardwick and his men will be doing all they can to find your missing painting.
Now you have some officer from another country entirely fighting your battles for you.
I speak on behalf of no one but myself, monsieur.
And I didn't ask you. Hardwick, get it found.
Right you are.
Will you allow some officer a moment of your time?
I'm a very busy man.
And then I shall keep my question short.
I'd say the heart attack was the most memorable part of the day.
Quite understandable. But before that?
I was talking to the bishop, or rather being talked at. He doesn't see it, but he gets quite heated. That's the last thing I remember. I did. That man just wants someone to listen to his incessant ramblings. I just couldn't stand there and listen to him anymore. I did. That man just wants someone to listen to his incessant ramblings. I just couldn't stand there and listen to him anymore. I decided to walk away and see the orrery from above. Then I met that young lady, Betty Allen.
You two spoke?
Briefly, but she was looking for her husband, so I think her mind was elsewhere.
I will not take up any more of your time.
Aha.
Come, my little grey cells. We must think logically. Things are beginning to become clearer.
What do you need? What can I do for you?
Madame Allen was behind the mess that lies before us. Filled with rage, she...
What do you think you're doing in here? Security!
Pardon, Madame Allen. I do not wish to cause any alarm. I am Detective Poirot. You will recall from the gala.
Yeah, I remember you. Doesn't give you the right to be snooping in here.
Snooping, no. Waiting patiently, oui.
You can wait outside. I'll talk to you there. Well, go on then, shoot.
Madame Allen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Look, let's just get on with this, shall we?
I promise not to take up too much of your valuable time.
Well, thanks to Johann walking off, I got stuck talking, a term I use loosely, with Mr. Aylesworth and the all-important bishop, as he likes to consider himself.
Where did your husband go?
Beats me. But when I saw him next, he was being attacked by that crazy artist. You must have seen it.
I did, and while I do not condone such behavior...
If you are going to defend that woman's actions against my husband, I'll stop you there. Not really any of your business, is it?
I would not forgive myself if something improper had happened and I had not addressed it.
You've got nothing to worry about. I'm an emotional woman. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? I thought it was best to just get myself out of there. He may have bitten his tongue, but if I'd got my hands on her...
Your husband mentioned you were feeling under the weather, no?
Me? No.
Ah, je vois. May I also ask about the snuff box that was found?
I've heard the Brits like that stuff. Not for me, though. Sorry.
You have been most helpful. Your Grace, there are matters we really must discuss.
You do understand my time is valuable, don't you? Heated? Who said that?
They are the words of Monsieur Aylesworth.
Oh, the man is in politics. He should know what heated looks like. There was no one else around. How was I to know he was having a heart attack when he clutched his chest? It could have been anything. And when I saw he was in trouble, I went to get help. I suppose I got lost finding my way back.
I do not believe Bishop Mountjoy was the instigator of Monsieur Aylesworth's heart attack, but it appears he does. He is quite rigorously trying to convince himself he is not to blame.
Merci, Your Grace.
What can I do for you? He knows just how to push. He knows what this museum means to me.
That is clear to us all.
He thinks he can say and do what he wants because of his position. But if he thinks he can get rid of me that easily... This museum is my life. And if anyone, including him, tries to do anything to jeopardize that, I'm sorry. The detective inspector was quite adamant I wasn't to allow anyone in.
Detective Hercule Poirot is not just any man, mademoiselle.
And modest to boot. I suppose it can't hurt. Follow me. There you go.
The key. It is in a far better condition than yesterday.
It was looking grubby and covered in rust, so I cleaned it. Is that a problem?
If you find anything else that may be of importance to the investigation, I ask that you leave it as you found it.
Ah. Huh. Ah. Huh. Huh. Oh. Aha. Oh. Mm-hmm. Huh. Huh.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. Another success. I never doubted myself. I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the... Logical thinking shall always prevail.
When the thief entered this room from the west wing, there was no paint on the key. We know this because there was no paint on the key when they used it on the door to the gallery. But there is paint on the key when the thief locks the west wing door after stealing the painting, telling us...
The key got covered in paint in this room.
Oui. And only after the painting was stolen. So... what happened in between locking the door to the gallery and leaving this room to lock the west wing door? The picture is becoming clearer, and the paint is the key. The thief unlocked the door from the west wing into this room, unlocked the door to the gallery, and stole the painting. They then returned, whereupon they laid the painting on the desk. The thief locked the door and returned to the painting. But then... an accident. They dropped the key into the palette of paint.
How can you be so sure?
We know because the paint palette was the only source of blue paint in the room that the key could have dropped in.
But why put the painting on this table, where items may be knocked or where they may be heard? Perhaps the answer is before me on the desk.
Oh. Aha. Ah. Huh. Huh.
What do you need? What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
Merci, monsieur.
Oh.
Gentlemen, have you seen Miss Babanian? She wanted to speak with me after the bishop was finished chewing my ear off, but it seems the pair of them have disappeared.
I'm afraid not.
Can't have been that important then.
Aha.
You're just full of questions, aren't you? Where did you get that?
It was found in a vent at the museum. Perhaps the very last thing I expected to find.
Yes. Well, thank you. I knew I had lost it somewhere.
A clearly valuable ring has just been returned to Madame, and she acts as though it means nothing to her.
And I would not describe throwing a ring at one's husband resulting in it being stuck in a vent as a case of losing it.
It is clear Madame Hélène felt no sickness at the gala, rather anger. In a moment of rage, she threw her ring at her husband before exiting the museum, and having seen the damage that she has caused in her own dressing room, one can conclude that it was the state of her marriage that allowed her emotions to get the better of her and act so rashly.
You have been most helpful.
The detective inspector will now be able to see as plain as day that Mademoiselle Court Smythe is the guilty party. Now to find him.
With the other remaining guests' movements all accounted for, she was the only one capable of making haste with the painting.
Ah, detective, you're here.
Look and you shall find. How may I be of assistance?
Oh, well, I've had the photographs from the gala developed.
That's good thinking, Miss Farquhar.
Oui, very kind, mademoiselle. There is nothing left for us to do but to take our findings to Detective Inspector Hardwick.
Do you think he'll listen?
It is his duty as a high-ranking officer of the law. We shall not be ignored. We have done all but arrest Mademoiselle Court Smythe for him. If it is the accolade that he desires, he may have it.
I was thinking that while you were speaking with Miss Court Smythe, I could try and find Mr. Christensen at their home.
It would certainly be more efficient. An excellent idea.
Him with a funny accent. He was here earlier asking the same questions. All I want is a bit of peace.
I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience.
Monsieur Hastings, your assistance is required immediately.
Good Lord, Poirot, that's a lot of smoke.
And now you are up to speed with the situation. I have evaluated the position we find.
If you're going to use the fire extinguisher, now would be the time.
Très bien.
That's it. One more should do it.
Detective Inspector, it is imperative we search the crime scene as soon as possible.
You mean my crime scene?
If I may, I can count on one hand how many crime scenes I have seen in my life, and although they are somewhere I don't wish to spend too much time, as the representative of Lloyd's of London Bank, it is my responsibility to handle all matters regarding the now stolen painting.
A weak attempt, but I've got more on my plate than dealing with some paper pusher getting his knickers in a twist. You've got until I return to do whatever it is you need to do. And if I find one thing out of place...
You may question my authority in this case, but I will not have my professionalism questioned.
Whatever you say.